Amazing. I'm going to go ahead and once again, I'm going to pass it over to our next speaker, Brad, in a moment. Brad, if you are ready, if you could turn your camera on as well, then I know that I can go ahead. Perfect. There you are. Cool. Okay. Well, everyone, the next person who I would like to go ahead and add onto the stage is somebody who, when we talk about a real estate investor, we are talking a big hitter here. Brad is a nationally recognized apartment investor and founder of Sumrok Multifamily Mentoring. He actually purchased his first 32-unit property over in 2002. And then a couple of years later, literally within 3 years, he was actually able to retire from corporate America. And over all of the years since 2002, he's actually been able to build a portfolio that exceeds $1 billion in multifamily assets. So he's been doing this now for over 2 decades. He's been able to mentor thousands of investors and helping them achieve their own financial independence through investing in apartments. And one of his biggest missions is to help others create both wealth and also a life of purpose. So without further ado, can we please give a huge round of applause for Mr. Brad Sumrok? Brad, floor is yours. You're on. Let me go ahead and unmute you real quick. There you go. That's what he's trying to tell me too.
There you go. Okay, I'm unmuted. Let's go.
You're all good.
Okay,
Floor is
how's it
yours.
going so far?
Everything's great.
I'm really excited to see everybody here, and learning about AI in real estate is probably the best way you could be spending your time these next 3 days. And hey, I just want to give you a behind the scenes. Well, no, I won't do that. I'll save that for the end. But you know, many of you know me, some of you don't, and I just want to give you a quick background. But before I do that, I want to tell you what I'm going to talk about and what I'm not going to talk about. So just for a minute or two, I'm going to talk about why it's so important that we learn to use AI in real estate, but I'm not going to teach it because I think Vanessa and some of the other speakers here are really going to teach that. So what I'm going to do is try to impress upon you why apartment buildings are such a great thing to be doing right now. And yeah, look, I know that the last couple of years have been some hard times, but the hard times has created like great opportunities for those that are ready. So before I start, I know you guys know how to use the chat, and I just want to see who's in the room here. So how many people here, if you're already doing real estate investing, type in RE. Just type in the chat RE. How many people are already doing real estate investing? Okay, that's a lot. This is amazing. Okay, and look, if you're not, that's okay too, because when I started, I had no previous real estate investing experience. Okay, and I was able to buy 32 units with my first building. So many people think you need to start with a single family rental, a duplex, a fourplex, and maybe over 10 years, you can figure out how to manage yourself 30 or 40 units. But what most people don't realize is that, I don't know about you, but when I used to, before I got into this business, I would see apartment buildings. I lived in apartment buildings after I got out of college. And I thought they were all owned by like mega millionaires and billionaires and Wall Street funds and stuff like that. But what I realized that I want to impress upon you is most of these apartment buildings are owned by people like us, and they're bought with other people's money. Okay, so I'm going to talk more about that. But the first thing I want to do is share with you why it's so important that you're here learning about AI. Okay, so we're not just learning AI to learn AI. Like, what AI is going to do for you as a real estate investor, let me just tell you what it's going to do for you. And number one is speed. Okay, AI is going to help you move faster than the people that aren't using AI. So if you're not using AI, you're just going to be at a disadvantage. Like what used to take us hours can now take you minutes, you know, and whether it's like having AI take notes for you in a Zoom meeting or go through your emails. But imagine like having AI to help you analyze deals, research markets. Okay, what used to take us hours and hundreds or even thousands of dollars can now be done so much cheaper and faster. Okay, so that's one reason is speed. Okay, and number two is better decisions. So if you're able to use AI to help you make better decisions, you know, stress testing, case analysis, and your underwriting, again, what used to be like creating multiple tabs for all these different scenarios with reversion cap rates and vacancies and rent growth factors. Now you could just plug it in and you could get literally many, many, many variations of your underwriting and running multiple scenarios like all at the same time. Okay. So again, it doesn't replace you. Okay. It sharpens you as an investor. So we have speed and we have better decision making. Number three is scale. Like we used to require people or even virtual assistants. Now, a lot of these tasks that are repetitive, that need to be streamlined. Like we used to have to hire analysts to do underwriting. Now we could do a lot of that with tools and AI. Okay. So you'll be able to do more with less people or less human resources or spending less money. Okay. So that's very powerful. When we talk about raising capital, again, like I'm using AI right now on my pitch decks. Okay. I'm using AI to build trust with prospects and potential investors. And so I'm faster, I'm more clear, I'm able to better communicate and effectively raise more money. Okay. And again, if you're new, like I offer a coaching program, of course, and so do other people, and it's still useful. Like I wouldn't just go to ChatGPT and try to substitute that with a coaching program, but it helps you like get in the game quicker. Like I use AI when I go to my accountant. I use AI when I go to my attorney. I still have an attorney. I still have an accountant. Like you don't want to substitute your highly paid coaches and mentors and professionals like doctors or real estate mentors or real estate brokers or lenders. Like you don't want to substitute them, but you'll be able to be more efficient and communicate with them better and be more impactful and be more intentional. Okay. And have better outcomes. And so like AI itself isn't going to make you get more deals or make you wealthy. But if you use AI and you can go faster, make better decisions, spend less money and get the same or better result, like this is why it's so important that you're here. Okay. So congratulations to yourself for being here. So that's about all I'm going to say with AI, except that, again, in my event and coaching business, I'm using AI. We're using AI to text message people. We're using AI to call people. We're using AI to write our copy, our emails. And I wasn't using it a year ago. And if I wasn't using it, like I would still be like doing things the old way. Okay. So that's a little bit about the importance of why you're here. And it's a necessity. It's like if you're not using AI, then you're probably going to be left behind and maybe you need to find something else to do. But then it's like almost everything that you do right now requires you to be competent in AI. Okay. So what I want to talk about in the time that I have left, which is about 23 minutes, because they gave me 30 minutes and we started right at the top of the hour, is I want to talk about why now is a great time to be putting money in deals, multifamily deals together, like right now. Okay. I'm going to share a little bit about how I started and scaled so that you can leverage my experience about how you could start and scale. Okay. And I want to talk about the system that I teach on apartment investing. Okay. It's 4 simple steps. And this is a system that you could use whether you want to buy 5 units, 50 units, or 500 units. I'm going to quickly talk about how we make money. And then I'm going to give you guys a free gift for sticking around the whole time and listening to me for the next 23 minutes. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So look, I started with no previous experience, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad books, went to a real estate investing seminar. Okay, I bought a mentoring program. That's how I started. I went all in. I didn't like dip my toes in the water. I was committed 100% from the beginning, did the seminar, bought the coaching program. And let me just share with you this. 8 months later, I had a 32 unit building. It put like $4,000 a month in my pocket. 8 months after that, I had another 30 units. Now I have 8,000 a month in my pocket and I ran out of money. And so my third deal was 250 units that I syndicated with other people's money. And that was my first syndication. And since then, let me just share with you this. I've done over 11,000 apartment units, over $1.2 billion of assets under management. And then I decided to get into the coaching business and the event business. And I got inspired by Tony Robbins, one of my mentors, and I saw him pouring his heart and soul into tens of thousands of people. And I thought, I want to do this for people that want to learn how to use apartments to get cash flow, to build wealth, to pay no taxes, because those are the outcomes of apartments. And let me tell you a secret. I don't love apartments. I love the outcome of apartments, the outcome of cash flow, wealth creation, net worth going up, taxes going down. Okay. So this is why I love apartments and I'm so passionate about apartments, because it's what it's done for my life. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I hope I have the ability to share some slides, and I want to just pivot now and talk about like why now is a good time and how we can make money. And because I want to motivate and inspire you. Let me see how many of you are actually doing. I know there's a lot of people doing real estate. Who in the room is doing apartments? Type in MF for multifamily, not the other MF. MF stands for multifamily. Okay, so we have a lot of multifamily people here too. So you people are my people, because I'm an apartment guy. Okay, and out of the people doing multifamily, if you're a limited partner or passive investor, type in LP for limited partner. Go ahead, type in LP for limited partner. Tons of LPs. I see a lot of people from my community. I promoted this event. I know Vanessa. I believe in Vanessa. So for everybody here in the Sumrok world, congratulations for being here. And if you're a GP or a co-GP, which means general partner, type in GP. Okay, GP. Amazing. I love it. If you're a future GP, if you're going to be a GP in 6 months or less, I want to know who you are, Robin. I know who you are, but there's more people than just Robin. Type in future GP. Okay, amazing. Well, you guys are going to be, hopefully, I'd love for you to learn from me when you want to be a GP. So look, I'm going to go quickly here because I got a lot to cover and not a whole lot of time. So what I want to share with you is why now? Okay. Well, here's the top 10 reasons. And I'm not going to read all these, bullet point by bullet point, but I'm going to speak into the most important things. And one thing you got to know is that we're at the bottom of a cycle. Real estate's on sale. Okay. It peaked in 2022. And the reason I believe we're at the bottom is it's been about a year and I haven't seen prices coming down much more over the past year. And I haven't seen cap rates changing much. Okay. So there's been big price decreases and big increases in cap rates. And now I'm seeing things kind of stabilize. Now, of course, we have the Iran war and all that kind of stuff. And who knows what's going to happen tonight. Okay. But here's the reality is the more uncertainty there is, the more opportunity there is. Now, why is that? Because when there's uncertainty, most people are on the sidelines, but not you people. Okay. You people could be at work or you could be doing something else right now, but you chose to be here. And so you're not like most people. So what I want to impress upon you is that we have a lot of fundamentals in our favor. Multifamily new starts, new development is at a 10-year low. It's created a huge demand again for multifamily, especially in the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt got hit really hard with all this new supply that came online in 23 and 24. But now there's no new construction or very little. And at the same time, buying a single family home has become like virtually unaffordable for the working and middle class people. So what I'm seeing right now with the people that I coach and mentor is it's a buyer's market. There's very little competition, very little competition. So us as buyers right now, we have this window of opportunity that we're able to get like amazing deals that I haven't seen in a decade. And a decade ago, the biggest mistake I made was not buying more real estate. And I'm not going to make that mistake again. And I don't want you to make that mistake again. So if you just look at this chart here, the average the median price of an apartment building to rent in this country is $1,800 a month, whereas the median price for principal, interest, tax, and insurance is $3,100 a month. Plus, and that's for a house. Plus, to buy a house, you got to put a down payment and have a 700 credit score, and not to mention that like only 27% of families could even qualify to buy that $400,000 home. Okay. In taxes, I want to share with you a secret. I haven't paid federal tax in 6 out of the last 8 years because the government incentivizes us to invest in real estate. And in Trump's first term, whether you love him or hate him, okay, but he did some good things for us tax-wise. And in his first term, he gave us the best depreciation benefits, and then they were scheduled to expire by the end of this year. But then last year in 2025, they brought back what's called 100% depreciation benefit in this bill that they did. Okay. So what it's doing is it's really making apartments great again. Okay. And apartments for 10 years, from 2012 to 2022, everybody and their brother wanted to be an apartment investor. Then we hit a bubble. We went through a downturn. And now there's a lot of people on the sidelines waiting for some green light to go off to say, hey, when is a good time? And I'm telling you, it's a good time. Okay. Because I've been through not just one market cycle, but 2 market cycles. So here's an example of a deal that one of my students just bought. Okay. It was listed for 11.5 million. If this was listed in 2021, it would have sold for like 13 million. But we just purchased it for $7 million, like 7 million. And there was nobody else going after the deal. I mean, and it's crazy, and the seller didn't want to sell, but he had to sell because his loan was due. So these are the kind of opportunities that are out there right now. So one of the things that's required, okay, if you want to be an apartment investor, a syndicator, okay, if you want to raise money from other people, it's funny, my phone just went off and I answered the phone instead of hanging it up. So they probably heard me screaming passionately into this AI for real estate challenge because I'm so excited about what it is that I do. Has anyone noticed, like, hey, when you're excited about something, do you talk loudly about it or do you talk softly about it? Tell me when you're excited, what do you do? Do you move your hands? Do you talk loudly about it, or do you just sit there and say, hey, like, I'm really excited about apartments, and yeah, let me tell you why now's a great time. I mean, no, it's like, so I'm excited about it. My phone rang. They heard me screaming into the phone, and I'm like, oh shit, someone's on the phone. I hung up. So, but look, here's what's excited. Here's what's required. Okay, you got to have a system. You got to have a system. And so I've taken down, like, literally, if you think about all the things one needs to do to buy an apartment deal, there's 20 or 30 things, and it could be overwhelming. But what I've done is I've chunk things together, and I've made something that might sound complicated into something simple. Okay. So number one is we got to understand the deal. We got to understand the business model, the numbers. You got to know your numbers. You got to know NOI. You got to know cap rate, and you got to know like how you're going to make money. Okay. So this is a very predictive business. We're not guessing. Okay. We're not speculating. Okay, I'm an engineer with an MBA. So do you think I'm going to get into a business where I'm guessing and speculating and gambling? No. So I want to get into a business where if you know your numbers and you do your research and you do your homework, you can fairly accurately predict how these deals are going to perform. And again, with AI, now we could do it faster, cheaper, and better. Okay, so if you're not using AI, it's going to take you longer. It's going to cost you more money. And what's going to happen is you're going to lose deals and you're going to miss opportunities. Okay. So we don't want to do that. Okay. We want to go faster, cheaper, better decisions so we can be even more effective than we used to be in the old days. So you got to understand the deal. Okay. Then you got to find deals. Okay. Don't be looking to find deals until you understand what you're doing. You got to know the business model. You got to know the formulas. You got to know the numbers. Okay. And you want to learn how to analyze them. So if you find them and you don't know how to analyze them, you know how many times I get deals from people that don't know what they're doing, the wholesalers or whatever, and they just send me deals and they're shitty deals. They're terrible deals. Most of them are terrible. And I don't even want to waste my time unless I know what they're doing. So you got to find them, and under find is find and analyze. And if you analyze them, you need a good property analyzer. Okay. So you need good tools, you need good training, you need good systems. Okay. And then once you find them and analyze them and you know how to determine, well, what is a good deal, and you find one, now you got to fund it. Okay. So funding, you need debt and you need equity. And so, like I always teach, like on a $10 million deal, you're going to need to get a loan of $7 million. And there's, how do you get that loan? What are the lenders looking for? How do you qualify for that loan with the property and the loan guarantors? And how do you raise the $3 million? Okay. Unless you happen to have it on your own. So you got to learn how to fund it with debt and equity. And then, of course, there's a whole list of things you got to do to close the deal. And then closing the deal, yeah, maybe you celebrate that night, but the next morning you go to work because now you got to manage the deal. You know, you got to handle the value add model or the business plan, the renovations, you know, whatever it is you're going to do to add value to the property. So you do that for a period of years. Okay. And you handle nuances. You know, we've had fires, we've had insurance claims, we've had, you know, all kind of stuff. Okay. But we handle that. And then you got to exit the deal. And there's different ways to exit the deal. You could sell, you could refinance, you could recapitalize. Now we're in an age of like loan modifications and loan extensions. And so you need to understand all these things. Okay. And so this is what's required, okay, to be successful. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is how we make money and how am I doing on time? I think I still have a few minutes, right?
Yep,
Vanessa
you're all good.
team?
Yep, you're all good.
Okay. So look, if you notice here, I'm not covering wholesaling because I don't teach theory. Okay. I've never wholesaled a deal. I'm an owner. I'm an investor. Okay. So I'm not just like flipping deals to somebody else and tying up contracts and, you know, doing this. I'm finding deals. I'm analyzing deals. I'm getting the debt and the equity. I'm closing them. I'm owning them. So I've owned 11,000 units, more than 11,000 units, more than $1.2 billion of apartment assets. Okay. And I've only owned them three ways. Okay. I've had 62 units that I've owned 100% with my own money. And all the other units over 11,000 have been part of syndications. And a syndication is basically a group of people that come together and they pool their money, their time, the energy, their resources together. And then they buy deals that are bigger than anybody could afford to buy on their own. And why do they buy bigger deals? Is because you get better management, better economies of scale, better debt. Okay. And so when you're buying a bigger deal, the lenders like them better, the institutions like them better, the property management companies like them better, and it's easier. So like I remember I bought a 32 unit with my own money and I basically bought myself a job. You know, I'm going to Home Depot on weekends. I'm doing QuickBooks and I still have a job and I'm trying to quit my job and I bought another job. It's called a 32 unit building. And then I bought 250 units with other people's money in a syndication. The management company, they put 6 people on the property. You know, managers, leasing agents, maintenance people, make-ready people, groundskeepers, housekeepers. They prepare every month, you know, pages and pages and pages of detailed financial reporting, balance sheets, rent rolls, P&Ls, delinquency reports, like everything you need to know about how the property is performing. So if it's performing well versus if it's not performing well, you could troubleshoot it because you have all the data. And again, now we could take those management reports and we could put them into AI and we can analyze them so fast. And look, if you're a limited partner right now and you get the monthly reports from your GP, you could put them into GPT or cloud And you can analyze these reports. See, like, even if you don't understand them, now you have somebody else's brain, AI brain, they can help you analyze these reports, and you can even know what questions to ask to your GPs. Or like if you're analyzing a deal and you get a pitch deck, you could take an investor's pitch deck, run it through AI, and you could come back to your GP and say, hey, here's questions that I need to ask you about this investment, whether I should invest or not. Like, this is the stuff you need to be doing using AI. Okay. And I'm speaking to everybody here, whether you met me before or not, or whether you're in some of my students in the room that are in my mentoring and mastermind community. We need to be doing this. Okay. So the thing is, we make money on our money. Okay. So you've heard of mailbox money. So anyone that puts in money, whether you're a GP or an LP, you're going to make cash flow. You're going to have a capital event at some point in the future where you sell or refinance the deal, and then you're going to get depreciation benefits. So that's how money makes money. Okay. The GPs do all the work. Okay. And the GPs make more money because they do all the work. And you can see the list of all the things the GPs got to do: find deals, analyze deals, make offers, raise money, secure the debt, close the deal, manage the deal, renovate the deal, investor relations. The list goes on and on and on. But because they do all the work and they bring this value of their time, their energy, their skill, their experience into the deal, they could take fees. Okay. And what I need you to know, I'm going to show you this slide here. Don't try to track all the numbers. I mean, when I do my conferences, I explain them. But what you see here is, you see the middle column is the returns an LP would get on a $50,000 investment. They're only making money two ways. The taxes are not shown here. So they get cash return and they get sales proceeds. Okay. But the GP gets cash return and sales proceeds too, just like the LP, but they're getting acquisition fee. They're getting a split. This is an 80-20 split compensation model. So the GP is getting a split of the upside, a split of the cash flow. And so GPs, by and large, could 10x. Like, it's a game changer. Okay. So when I asked you earlier, if you're a future GP, like, I have a gift for everybody, but especially for those that are future GPs, I want to invite you to come to my next training event. I mean, of course, anybody could come, but it's really for people who want to be future GPs. So here's a picture of me with Grant Cardone, who's very well known for raising money and buying like big, beautiful A-class deals. And I just want to tell you, I don't agree with everything about Grant Cardone and everything he says, but I agree with this statement. If you're a good person, if you're ethical, if you know how to manage money better than most people, you absolutely need to be in the capital raising business. Okay. And so just like anything else, it's a skill that you could learn. And by using AI, you could do it faster and more effective, whether it's building trust, communicating with investors, analyzing your pitch deck, like all that these days could be done using AI. Okay. So I have a free gift for everybody. And if you scan this QR code, what you're going to get is two things. Okay. Two things. So number one is, anyone who scans it, in February, just a few short months ago, I did my 2026 annual apartment investor forecast. And so this is for people that want to see charts, graphs, data. I also have John Chang, who's the senior vice president of Marcus and Millichap, with me, and he heads up their research department. So you're not just hearing from me, you're going to hear from one of the top multifamily research scientists in the entire country, and of course me. And we're going to share with you our forecast and predictions for 2026, including markets that are hot and markets that are not. So again, you scan that and you're going to get the forecast. The other thing you're going to get is, I don't have the landing page built yet, and it's coming out very shortly, but you will also be put on the wait list to get an invitation to attend my next 2-day apartment investor training event. Okay. I just did one at the end of March, and the next one will be at the end of June. Okay. In Dallas. And so again, you will get the forecast with John Chang and myself, and you will get put on the wait list to be the first in line to attend my next apartment investor weekend training event. It's not just for GPs. Okay. If you want to LP and you want to be an educated LP, it'll be a great event. If you want to buy your own deals with your own money, it'll be a great event. If you want to be a GP, it's a kick ass on steroids event. Okay. And I will say this, my event is for people that want to take action. Okay. It's not just for looky-loos. It's not just for people that want to learn and think about things. Like, I'm telling you right now that we are in a unique window of opportunity. There's so many things happening. Okay. But the window of opportunity for people that are ready to invest in the next like 6 months, I can't wait to be a part of your life and to be a part of your journey. Because if you wait, I'm telling you, a year from now, you're going to regret it. And I'll leave you with that. Like, some of you here, there's hundreds of people on, and some of you will be like, yeah, this is great. Like, I'll think about it. I'll think about getting started, but I'll wait for things to calm down, or I'll wait until I have more time, or I'll wait until I have more money, or I'll wait for, you know, to see what happens in the election, or I'll wait for this. And you know what? That's what I call being a professional waiter. And professional waiters, they don't make tons of money. Okay. People that wait on tables are professional waiters, but also some people out there are professional waiters. They're just waiting for everything to be perfect. And things will never be perfect. Okay. You may never have more time. Okay. You think you're going to have more time in 3 months or 6 months than you do right now. Well, what makes you think that? So here's the deal. Okay. Some of you will get started learning and investing. Some of you will listen to all the AI stuff too. And you'll say, hey, this is great information, but I don't know where to start, man. There's so many things that are being taught and so many speakers and so many tips and so many strategies. Pick 1 or 2 things that you learned from this event that Vanessa's putting on, or maybe 3. Okay. Don't try to do 100 things. Pick 3, 2, 3, 4 things and go and implement them, because I'm telling you, and this is the last thing I want to say, the people that implement and execute and take action will win. And the people that think and sit on the sidelines, well, they won't win now. And maybe they'll win in the future when they implement. But the opportunity we have right now, I haven't seen in a lifetime. So, guys, I think I'm done. I think I just hit my 30-minute timeline. And I'm hoping that what I shared with you today was useful, and some of you move into action and not just learning. Okay. Like, learning is good. Knowledge is not power unless you take action.